My name is Ruth Kraft, and as many of you have met me already know that in real life, I was a New York State judge and now a partner in a law firm. And before that, I was a law professor, and I created the initial corporate social responsibility curriculum when it was mandated in the schools of business. And I did that at NYU, at what's now called the Stern School of Business. So my involvement in business ethics and corporate social responsibility goes back over 40 years. And this is Jim Arnold, who is a very distinguished.
Yes, some of you I have met. I was at the University of St. Thomas in the great city of Minneapolis, Minnesota. No bias, but listen to those accents, can you tell? Yes, we're all from Minnesota, and I have been with IBECC for 16 years now, and I'm on the board of directors. And just to echo what Ruth says, this is a wonderful organization, and we love being here. This is a labor of love.
Absolute labor of love for us.
This is not about money. This is about everybody getting together. It's wonderful to see our fellow judges because it's been what, 4 years since we've been together?
We've been on Zoom together. The year that COVID emerged, we didn't compete at all, and then the last three we've been on Zoom. So we get to see, and it's frustrating with the teams too, because we get to see you in competition and give feedback, but we don't get to see you on a more human level and schmooze with you and, you know, find out what your aspirations are and where you work or go to school next year. You know, we miss that kind of interaction. So we're really excited that we're back together in this beautiful, beautiful campus. It really is exquisite. I think it's like a secret that people don't know. My law school classmate who lives in Dedham didn't know that Mount Ida existed. So I said, you have to come and see it because it's absolutely stunning. Anyway, I'm going to read you the instructions. So first, I just want to remind everybody, Jim is going to have the, he's going to set a timer here. This year, we didn't have timers available. You cannot exceed the 90 seconds. That's fatal error, okay? But this presentation, we call it the elevator presentation, to be honest. But it's framed a little differently now. So you're not in the elevator. Okay, so imagine that you are an employee of the company whose case you've been studying. And now you're in a meeting, people are discussing the issue, but nobody has brought up ethics. Big surprise in corporate America. Okay, so there's a pause in the conversation, and you have 90 seconds to convince the other people at the meeting, which is namely the two of us, okay, that there are ethical issues that need to be addressed. You do not have to argue about a solution, which is sometimes the hardest thing in the long competition. You need to get us to see that there are serious ethical issues here, and you get to delegate one and only one to do that, to try to point that out for us. And so we're going to begin with University of Minnesota, Morris. And I know you've been out there practicing, and just let us know when you're ready. Right? Great.
Are we starting? Okay. All right, team. We've been talking about the financial and logistic benefits of scaling up our AI matchmaking product. There's a real ethical concern here about fairness that we haven't discussed. See, right now, our company has a small, wealthy, and conservative customer base. Once we scale, we're gonna have a large, ideologically and socioeconomically diverse customer base. Based on our vision to find everyone their soulmate on the first match and the general ethical principle of quality of service, the ethical thing to do is to build a matchmaking product that gives the same great experience to all types of clients. But if we scale up our product as it is today, that's not going to happen. That's the ethical concern. Our heteronormative blog posts and website photos exclude LGBT+ clients. And when it comes to actually using our service, these people aren't even given a place to describe their sexuality or gender identity. Further, our algorithm has these parameter selection issues because we've told it that certain parameters in matching are important based on heteronormative evolutionary psychology. And then we went out and we trained this algorithm on a bunch of heterosexual couples, reinforcing the bias. When the algorithm actually has to match an LGBT plus client, it's gonna give them a worse quality match. That creates a disparity. If we're serious about scaling our company and doing so in an ethical way, we gotta foresee and fix these disparities.
And next is that California State University at Northridge. And your name is?
Christopher Mendoza.
Christopher.
Yeah. Alright. Wait a minute, am I hearing this correctly? How can one place a price on human life? Since when do we, Pfizer, approach our consumers with profit margin at the forefront of our minds? Are we considering the ethical responsibility of us as a company approaching the pricing of Xtandi? High prices of Xtandi impact those with prostate cancer. Are you familiar with those that have experience with prostate cancer? Of course, we as a company must seek profit, but we must seek, but not destroy. For we are human. If you look around the room, what do we all have in common? We are human beings. I did not join Pfizer for money. I could have gone to Goldman Sachs if that were the case. I did not join Pfizer to farm human life. I joined Pfizer to save human life. I joined Pfizer because Xtandi saved my friend's life. I joined Pfizer to change the world. We must consider the ethical practicalities of our approach to Xtandi and to the pricing of this. We must consider our influence as a leader in the industry when it comes to our approach to healthcare society. We must consider this at every part of the process. Please, my fellow colleagues, know, my fellow human beings, people must have a voice and we must listen. And this starts now. Thank you.
And we've got one more, Suny Csun. Chelsea, so did you all take your 2 photographs already? You all did it? Excellent, okay.
Insulin accessibility and affordability is a hot button issue for type 1 diabetics in the United States who rely on this medication to survive. Manufacturers like Eli Lilly, ourselves, we can make all the right moves, but once intermediaries get involved, customers start getting hurt. Pharmacy benefit managers are just one kind of these intermediaries. And pharmacy benefit managers are just one kind of these intermediaries. And they have negotiating power to recommend certain types of insulins over others. And they prioritize profit at the expense of the consumer. Most patients don't realize that intermediaries play a big role in the insulin acquisition process, and this is harmful. With all this in mind, we have to consider how can a group of people place a price on a medication that has immeasurable value. The original patent holders of insulin sold their product for $1 a century ago, and we need to uphold their vision for insulin to belong to the world. In today's society, insulin access should be considered a human right. And as a company, we have a responsibility to ensure that everyone is involved in the insulin acquisition process and that there's a transparency in how that comes across. Thank you.
We're all good, yep.
We're all great. Congratulations to your academic advisors, of course. Right? I mean, because there's a point of going to college and not just getting the textbook and teaching it to yourself. Your teachers are mentors and they're leaders, and they can be incredibly inspirational. And I know my teachers certainly were at every stage of the game. And a couple of my law professors are still alive, and we venerate them literally for what they are, who they are, and what they stand for in terms of jurisprudence. And I'm sure having been an academic, you know that how many lives you have changed, right? And Tom certainly.
We hope so every day, and we really do. We talk about it, and we really, really do. Your professors are very, very dedicated. I can promise you that.
It really is. It's a lot, having been one, it's a real lifestyle choice and a commitment. Because you always wonder, where are they gonna go? What are they gonna do? And I'm that many years in that I have students, I started teaching law at 25. So I have students who are now in their 60s, which is kind of crazy. And I'm still in touch with a bunch of them. And it really, it's the most fulfilling thing. I mean, being a judge is the greatest honor. In the lowest power, let's face it, to make decisions, and practicing law is a lot of fun. But I think there's nothing more honorable than you can do other than the practice of medicine and saving lives, right, than shaping lives. So we're very proud of all of you. And typically in the 92nd, we really don't get feedback. But I think you, having seen 2 of the 3 presentations yesterday and this morning, I think you did a really good job of synthesizing that down to 90 seconds. Okay, were you convinced?
Oh, yeah, I was very convinced. I think it's really important to understand that you first have to attract attention to ethics, because ethics by itself doesn't always attract its own attention, because it's considered to be a cost center, which is incorrect, because it's actually a profit center.
Will you eat lunch with us 10 minutes?
Is that what you were talking about? Yes. We worked together for so many years. Yeah, that it's a profit center. It's just a matter of making the mind shift to it. But it's up to each one of us to make that call and to point out that there's an ethical issue here, because there are others that are not going to do it for us. So what you did today was a great example of what you need to be doing going forward to bring the attention to it, and we love you for it. And the more you can do that, the better off the world is going to be. So thank you.
And the truth is that when you go out, when you go forth in Conver, and you're in the workplace, the fact that you have done this, not just taking a course in corporate social responsibility, which if you're in undergraduate B school is mandatory, the fact that you've done it at this level will stay with you forever. That you're just poised, you're attuned to think about those ethical issues, even if nobody else in the room mentions them, and frankly, even if no one else cares. It will shape the way you present and the way you filter decision-making and strategy at every juncture. So we're very proud of you, and we'll see you at 4 o'clock for some food, because that's the one thing Mount Ida is very famous for, apparently the #1 college food of the country. Apparently, we're told, and then 4:30 we will see you at the award ceremony. But you're all winners.